I'm Presh Williams at the closing night of the London Independent Film Festival, and this is Speed Dating with Filmmakers. How are you feeling right now?
Well, super excited, right? Yeah. This was actually our premiere, and we got an award, world premiere, yeah, you're right. And so first screening with an audience, and it was so well received. Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you very much.
We're from Vancouver. It's a film by Rylan Friday. We made it during the pandemic. It's a love story of the two queer people who go off into the woods, and it's really scary. And that's why we won Best Horror Short. This is our European debut of the film, and we're a small, indigenous film company based in Vancouver. And so for us, it's really extraordinary to get to share that story more broadly and to be able to get to freak the people out across the Atlantic. I'm here for it.
Awesome. We're here for it too. What do you hope people watching the film will take from it?
Well, what I would love to have that people just are more aware of what's happening around them with the environment and with everything that is happening in the world, just to be more aware of everything. Basically, yeah, be more aware of it, be aware of your own actions, of what you're doing, and be grateful for where you are on Earth, because we are here as visitors, basically, because the nature is still the Earth. So yeah.
Wise words, and thank you very much for your time.
The festival has been amazing. I've met some great people, lots of really bright up-and-coming people that I look forward to seeing in the future on their various journeys. The film is called Free. It's a nasty little horror short about the high price of real estate and what people are willing to do to live in this very expensive city.
And what was the inspiration? Was there a particular moment? Because I know I've got some real estate horror stories in my own head, but yeah.
Well, honestly, the inspiration was watching young people that I know thinking of leaving the city because they can't afford to live here anymore, and thinking about what it's going to be like when all of the great people, all of the artists, the filmmakers, the sculptors leave because they can't afford to live here. And I wanted to sort of take my revenge.
Tuacinda is a thriller. It's about a stakeout that turns into obsession. It's kind of sort of a Hitchcockian noir, adapted from a graphic novel by David Taylor, a Scottish graphic artist. We just wanted to tell a story that was different, that it was exciting, and that was felt very contemporary and with thrills of independent audiences. And we're so glad to be here and to be winning this award.
It's basically a bit of a play on Regency dating, taking inspiration from people's modern day experience with Tinder. So it's kind of taking that fun, flirtatious, more modern way of dating back into a time period where they wouldn't have really done that. So it's kind of like matchmaking but modern. So yeah, making Regency more relatable, I like to say.
And what was the sort of inspiration, I suppose, in sort of creating the film? Is it a particular experience or?
It's Jane Austen.
Yeah, there was a particular experience. So basically, it was like, when the light bulb kind of spark I did, that generally happened to me. We had this miniature portrait of Darcy.
Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy from the Jane Austen Museum. And so we saw that, and it inspired us to think, I wonder if you had a dating profile as a portrait, and it kind of led on from there. But it definitely was a light bulb moment for sure.
And final question, what are you hoping audiences can take away from the film?
I think it would be really interesting for people to see how you can take modern ideas and take them into the past and just try something new. Because I think it's a new concept where basically, you imagine the Regency era with a modern concept that hasn't been seen before. So I think it's quite exciting for that reason.
Yeah, sure. It's a film that is about a woman who travels to a sort of mysterious island-based agency that recreates people's dreams for them. She becomes infatuated with one of the performers who recreated her dream, and she starts working at the agency. And she kind of sees what's behind the curtain in this strange agency that recreates people's dreams.
Yeah, that's it. She described it very well.
Are we rolling? Oh, okay, cool. So we can get some interesting cutaways and cutscenes, and just me completely sweating and trying to seem professional. Oh, please join us.
Well, it's an interesting one because it's set in the 80s, so it's kind of a combination of my childhood and a combination of becoming a father myself, and kind of putting that together and wanting to examine toxic masculinity and what we pass down to the next generation, but doing it in a way that reflected the way I grew up. But so it's a kind of 80s brought to a modern argument in an 80s setting. So
Alex Lewis is a quadruple amputee, and he lost all limbs about 8 or 9 years ago when he was in his early 30s. He just got a strep A infection, and he went from an able-bodied person within about 6 months to having no arms and no legs. And so that was, probably would have been a crushing blow for most people. But he has recovered mentally, and he now has become like an explorer, an adventurer. And so my documentary is a little bit about that recovery and him trying to climb the highest mountain in Ethiopia. So he used a hand cycle, and it's really about his journey from the design of the hand cycle to his training to getting to the top of the peak.
It's a story about a very lonely guy who lives in a park in a little shack, and he's got this two-way home-built radio that he's built. And one day he gets an SOS call from a woman trapped in orbit, and then we sort of show their conversation over the night, how they bond and stuff.
Well, what do you actually need the funding for? If you're waiting for money because you want to get chauffeured to and from set, then you're wasting your time. You have the equipment now to go out and make a film. What my only piece of advice is, before you do that, just get your script laser tight before you start. Don't just be like, I've done a couple of drafts and now I'm going to steam ahead because, that's what you can do now. Really take the time. Maybe get your script into a couple of competitions first. Get some feedback. Get some good feedback, and get your script super tight. Because once you've got your script super tight, you'll find actors that will want to play those roles. If you've written a good script, good actors will come to you. Good actors will read it and be like, I want to be a part of this. And at that point, you don't need huge, as long as you don't have 10 helicopter chases in your script, you're going to be able to do it. I rewrote this script several times to get around filming regulations. I realised that in the London Borough of Islington, if your crew's under 5, you don't need a permit. So I rewrote a ton of scenes and cut a load of stuff out so that the one time someone did come and stop us, I was able to just flash a screenshot of the website and be like, sorry mate, back to your office. I'm good here. And it worked. So just be smart about the film you want to make.
The music video is it's a audiovisual composition, and the visual part has been made using an AI that is called Stable Diffusion. So basically it goes through the history of human inventions, starting from fire, arriving to AI, and is very fast-paced, and you can basically describe what you want to see and the camera movement, and then the AI transform that into imagery. And
about the women inside and what the film's about.
Sure, it's about refugee and migrant women in the UK. It's a verbatim film, so we worked with the actual women who have the experiences that are shown in the film. It's all in their words. Nobody wrote any original lines or anything. It's compiled with the support of a writer, Suhaila El Bushra, and and it just kind of gives their experiences, but then also shows the value of women's centers. So in the UK, these are kind of lifelines for women in situations where they just really need support for navigating the immigration system or housing or whatnot, or building a sense of community and having friendships. So that's what it's about.
I think this film is giving a voice to black and brown women who are usually excluded from the narratives of asylum, especially the criminal justice. Older women that basically keep this country going. They've served, they've given so much, and giving them a platform was amazing. And the fact that they were part of the conception all the way to the edit, we made sure that it was in their hands. So the practice of the film is in itself part of the narrative of making sure that people that have a story to tell also get to own their story. So it was an amazing opportunity.
It's basically about civilization in the future, come back to the past and manipulate the past to benefit themselves in the future, but take our spiritual path away from us.
So they manipulate us in a way that they take us away from who we truly are.
As a stylist, just job share with somebody, just to fill in between jobs. And then within a couple of weeks, they asked me to come on and be casting director, which we did together collectively and nailed. And we did a brilliant job, guys, by the way, casting. And then within that 2 weeks, the boys asked me to come on board as senior producer. And so this little team became this amazing production. Well done us. Best sci-fi, guys. Best sci-fi.
Well, congratulations on the success and congratulations on the win today. And thank you for spending time with me and have a great